you for about a 10-minute lap of the park this afternoon. Just before we head off though, I do just need to cover a couple of safety rules for everyone to follow. The first and most important one is that everyone remains seated for the entire duration of this ride, not moving around on any of the trailers or attempting to stand up until we come back to a complete stop in this spot. I might also need to stop the tractor or slow down for any animals, and I might need to even get out of the tractor myself to move them along. And if this is the case, I do again just ask that no one tries to get off the tractors, the trailers, and everyone remains seated once again. Second of all, if you've purchased any of those animal feeding pellets from the kiosk this afternoon, I do just need to ask that they are tucked away nice and tightly in your laps and out of sight of any of our cheeky animals. That goes as well if you've got any of your own food with you, please keep it tucked away and out of sight. We don't want to accidentally attract any animals towards the tractor or the trailers. That being said, I'll get the all clear and we'll head off. First up on our left-hand side, we have Oakvale's walk-through wetlands bird aviary. This is home to about 12 different species of birds, including ducks, pigeons, doves, spoonbills, bushstone curlews, and some small parrot species as well. In there we also have a cheeky little Raja shelter named Sheldon, and he loves to say hello and have a bit of a chat. Attached to the walk-through aviary there we have Oakvale's reptile ravine. This is home to a variety of snakes, lizards and monitors, and you can keep an eye out for Australia's largest snake species, which is the Australian scrub python, and her name is Moggle, and also Australia's largest monitor species, and he is a parenti named Rusty. At the front of the reptile ravine as well, we have our freshwater turtle waterfall enclosure there, home to 2 different species of freshwater turtles. And then of course we have our 2 big American alligators, and these guys are brothers and their names are Gus and Roscoe. These guys are quite young for American alligators, they're only about 14 years of age still, so they can still grow up to another metre in length. On our right we have Cassie, our southern cassowary. These guys are really interesting animals, and if you'd like to hear a little bit more about them, we do have a cassowary talk out the front of her enclosure at about 3 p.m. this afternoon. On our left-hand side, we have our macaw aviary, home to our 3 blue and gold macaws, and they share that aviary with a few other species, including eight-lectus parrots, ringneck parrots, and some cheeky little sun conures as well. On our right, we have our little echidna pit, home to our 2 short-beaked echidnas. These boys' names are Diesel and Knuckles. And then behind those guys, we have Tweety, our big wedge-tailed eagle down the back there. You might have already walked past her enclosure and noticed she does have a bit of a dropped wing. She has a little story at the front of her aviary there. Essentially, she did used to be a wild bird. She had a bit of an accident and she can no longer fly. So we've set up her aviary so that she can get up nice and high without having to use that wing. Next to her we have our cockatoo kingdom. It's got the little staircase up into the middle of the aviary. This is home to our red-tailed black cockatoos, our galahs, our Gangan cockatoo, our Major Mitchell's cockatoo, and our other pair of eight-lectus parrots. On our left we pass our 3 meerkats. Their names are Luan, Kumo and Juno, and behind those guys we have our Lumholtz tree kangaroos named Sai, Adele and Sophus. On our right we have Australia's carnivorous bird species, including our laughing kookaburras, our blue-winged kookaburra, our bushstone curlews, and also our 20 frogmouths. On our left as well we're passing our 6 emus, and right next to them our 3 ostriches. These guys are closely related to the southern cassowary, being a part of the ratite family, which just means that they are a flightless bird. Emus are also Australia's fastest bird, able to run up to 50 kilometres per hour. But when they're racing the ostriches next to them, the ostriches can definitely get ahead, able to run up to 70 kilometres per hour. On our left as well, we have our walk-through wallaby enclosure, home to our 3 different species of wallabies, and also our little quokka named Wendell. As the name suggests, you are welcome to walk through here, as long as you're walking and not running, and not chasing or attempting to corner any of these animals. We do have some confident ones in there that will come over for a feed and a pat. We do also have some shy ones in there as well, which we want them to feel nice and comfortable in their home. On our right we have our 2 dingo enclosures. In the first one we have Picasso, she's our black and tan dingo. And right next to her we have Hunter and Gilly, her parents. Dingoes do come in a variety of natural colours, including that black and tan colour. The a common orange sandy colour, and they can also come in white as well. You might also hear these guys howling throughout the day. They can't actually bark like our common dogs can, so they howl to communicate to each other. Also on our right hand side we have Oakvale Dam. This is where a lot of our own waterfowl species spend a lot of their day, including our Muscovy ducks, our Canadian geese, our Cape Barren geese, and also our black swans. You'll also notice there are quite a few wild waterfowl species hanging around here as well. We get quite a few different duck varieties fly in. We get those little black swamp hens. We get the occasional pelican when we're lucky, and we get some geese species flying in as well. Obviously they got a lot of food while they're here, access to Lemur Island for some shelter, and also of course access to lots of water. So I reckon it's a pretty good spot to hang out for the day. On our left we're passing our Asian water buffalo paddock. We have 3 Asian water buffaloes in here. We have our mum named Pumbaa, we have our dad named Timon, and their little calf named Nala. It looks like they're having a nice little sunbake out the front of their hay shed at the moment. When it does warm up a bit more, you might find them in their wallow. This is because they can't sweat like you and I can, so they use the mud and the water to cool themselves down. And they also stick the mud to their little fine hairs in their skin, and this acts as a natural sunscreen and insect repellent. Behind those guys we have our 2 dromedary camels. Their names are Sandy and Alice. Dromedary just meaning that they have 1 hump, as opposed to the Bactrian camels which have 2 humps. On our right we're passing our Lemur Island, home to our 6 ring-tailed lemurs. These guys live in matriarchal societies, meaning that any females rank above any males. So over there we have our Queen Sumba, and she is in charge of the 5 males over there. She gets to boss them around and gets the first pick of the food. On our left we have what we call our free range area, where a lot of our kangaroos spend a lot of their time. We have red kangaroos out there and also eastern grey kangaroos. Same as the Wallabies, you can go out and feed any of those pellets you might have purchased. We again just ask that you're walking and not running, and not attempting to chase or corner any of these guys. On our right we have our koala country. This is home to our 5 female koalas, our 2 male koalas, and our 3 weaned joey koalas. We also have our common wombat named Pebbles in there, and our 2 Tasmanian devils named Dove and Dolores. Now these guys, there will be a talk for these guys at 2:30 just after the tractor ride. So if you want to hear a little bit more about the Tasmanian devils, pop into Koala Country at 2:30 at the front of the Tassie Devil enclosure for the 2:30 Tassie Devil talk. On our left we have our domestic farm animals. In the first paddock we have Pixie and Charlie Brown, our miniature ponies. Behind those guys we have our little alpaca herd with their little baby, which is called a cria. Next to those guys we have Lenny, our Texas Longhorn cow. We have Harriet, our Scottish Highland cow, and also Jenny, our donkey. And then in this last paddock on our left we have our 2 llamas named Cusco and Tina. We have our 3 little dairy calves named, sorry we haven't named these guys yet, but we are asking for suggestions if anyone wants to suggest names for our 3 little Frisian calves. And we also have Cisco, our other little Shetland pony. Rose will also head over there shortly when she's finished being milked out for the day. And then over on our right we have our little nocturnal house, home to our spotted quolls. Their names are Tom and Jerry. And next to those guys we have our sugar gliders and our ring-tailed possum. On our left as well we have Oakvale's smallest bird species, which are the purple crowned lorikeets. They also have eastern rosellas in there with those guys, and also little diamond doves. And then we have our little animal nursery with our really cute little baby animals, including our little bunnies, our guinea pigs, and our little silky hens and their chicks in there, and also our 2 little lambs in there at the moment. And then on our left, you would have seen them when we got on. We have our 2 big Berkshire pigs. We have Petal, the first one there, she's the darker one, and Vinny, the lighter one as well. And last but certainly not least, our other little silky hen enclosure. That brings us to the end of the ride, guys. I hope you've had a great time. Please just stay seated till I've switched off the engine. I hope that you enjoy your rest of your day here at Oakvale Wildlife Park.